Hey everybody, Zee Garcia here, and today we're going to be drafting letter cards and building words in this musical themed game called Composition. Each player is going to be a composer, and you are going to be engaging in a chaotic battle of music, is the idea anyway, by drafting these cards that have letters and then using them to build a word. And trying to earn roses. The roses are the currency in the game. You then turn around and spend those on more cards, trying to build bigger and better words. That is what you are doing. There's some very cute critter artwork on some of these cards, but there's really not a lot of artwork in the game. This is basically it. Most of the cards will look something like that. A letter, maybe a special ability, and really the game is for folks that like word games. You like having a handful of different letters and then building the best word you can out of that. That's the target. But is the game good for that group of players? And is it something that is going to revolutionize your enjoyment in word games, bring something new and different from the ones you probably already own? Well, let's go ahead and take a look at the overview first, and then I'll tell you my thoughts on the other side. Here I have a game set up for 4 players, and all the players are going to continue taking turns until the game is over, which is either when all of these cards up here have been purchased, these are the ovation cards, or all of these awards are gone and they've been earned. And at that point, whoever has the most applause ribbons is going to be the winner of the game. The applause ribbons can be seen on the awards here and on these ovation cards. Now, every round, the players are going to be drafting cards, they're going to be building a word, and then earning these roses from those words. The cards have a letter, they possibly have a little note below that for a bonus, and then they have a number above the letter, which is how many roses it's worth when it's part of a word. All right. Now, every character has a maestro here. This is your little character. You begin with that. You have a special ability, and you begin with the letters that make up your name. So if I'm Owl, I have the O, the W, and the L there. And these are going to have a little lock right there, which means the card sticks around for me. If I use it in a word, I get to hang on to it. I have these for the rest of the game. These up here, when you buy them, they also stick around, but they're quite expensive. So, top of the game, we reveal a number of these equal to the number of players. We're going to put down 2 of these crescendo cards face down. We have the ghost note right here, which is basically a wild letter. And then we'll have, again, players around the table. This is right now set up for 4 players, but I'm not going to be showing you the placements for all of them. Starting from the start player for the round, whoever has this card here, you are going to take a card. If you take any of these notes, that's free. If you want to take the ghost one, it'll cost you 1 rose, unless these are all gone. Then it's free. If you want to buy one of these, you're going to pay 5 roses. You don't begin with that much. You begin with 1. And if you want one of these ovations, that's going to be 20. So you're going to have to make a couple of words, maybe 3 words, to try to get enough of this currency to buy these up. And this will continue until someone passes. Now, as long as there's any free cards here, you cannot pass, okay? So I'll start, and I might take this one, the T, for example. You'll see it's a T. It's going to be worth 2 roses. It does have a note, which could give me bonus roses or a bonus action, and no text down here. So I'll take that, put that in my hand. This next player might go. They'll take one. This one happens to be a C, worth 2 roses, and it has an ability. Many of these cards will have abilities. This one says pay 3 roses, draw 2 cards from the note deck, which is this one, or 1 card from the crescendo deck, which is this one. So they'll take that. The next player might take one. The next player after that might pay a rose to take this one, because this is still here. It costs 1 rose. I might take this. The next player now could buy one of these for 5. They could buy one of these for 20, or they could just pass. And if they pass, we're done. And now everyone will make a word. So you look at all your letters, and you figure out a word you want to make. So I might try to, I'll make this one here. So my word is going to be wilt. like that. I check any powers. This one here says, if adjacent to the ghost note in a performance with 5 letters or more, then I can double the value of one of my cards. That's not the case. So I'm going to be earning 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. These are worth 5, and so I'm getting a total of 6. These are going to be discarded because they do not stick around, and I'm going to get these back. However, before I do that, I want to check that there are 2 of these that have the same symbol in the corner there, the same note. And if we check our player aid, which tells you the costs on this side, and the note, the symbol bonus is on this side, you'll see that having 2 of the same means I get 2 bonus roses, or I get to draw a card from the note deck. I'll just take 2 bonus roses. So I got 2 more of those, and now I can discard these and take these back. Any of these that have the lock symbol will just be stored here face up next to my character. Now on the other side, I have the what's called the chorus, and I can carry some letters over from round to round. If I did not use them, I drafted them but I didn't use them, then I can normally carry over 2, okay? And you can freely switch the 2 you want to keep from one round to the next, you know. I took a W, but I didn't use it now. Well, I'll put it over here and keep it, and I'll use it maybe next hand. Once that's done, we are going to reveal these again. Whoever took the ghost one will put that back. So let's say, you know, this player used that one, this player used that. The ghost one is over here somewhere. There we go. And now, you know, we start again with the next player drafting these. Eventually, players will buy these, or they might buy these. So, for example, if you spend 5, you could buy that one. It's an N. It has the lock, so now you have a new permanent letter that you can use. This other one here is an A. It's not a permanent letter, but it has a pretty good special ability. It says you may, when you play this, you can treat it as though it had any of the 3 musical symbols, any one of them you want. So that'll be a good way to do that. And then, of course, you're also watching out for these. So, you know, spell a word with 3 vowels or more. That'll go quickly. You're going to get that. This one is create a performance with 8 letters or more. This one, create a performance that earns 20 roses or more, and so on. So you're trying to earn those. Now, one thing to point out is if you buy one of these on your turn, you cannot on the same turn earn one of these. They only allow you to take one of these applause badges per turn, which is unfortunate because I think it slows down the game unnecessarily, but that's the rule. Now, as these are purchased by the players, this tracker right here will increase, revealing more of these note cards. So as the game goes on, you have more of a flop here, called the composition. There's more of them there, so you can make longer words by drafting more letters, okay? So that's it. That's basically the way the game works. There's a few other special abilities that are going to show up on these. I'm not going to go into all that. There's a little take that with some of the cards. But this gives you enough of an idea to understand what is happening in the game. So let's go back up top. Let me tell you what I think of it. That is composition here, a cacophony of words, it says. I think overall this game, while a neat idea, is not executed to the level that I would like to see it perform at. For instance, there is, I think, for folks that enjoy word-building games, especially those that are done with cards, I don't think those folks are going to discover anything in this game that they didn't already discover in something like paperback. And if you're interested in this game, you probably own paperback, because there's just not that many word games of this style. You know, there's Scrabble and all of those, but you are probably aware of paperback and probably own it. And if not, I would recommend it if you are interested in that style of game. But let's go ahead and talk about this, composition. Okay, we're going to take it from the top. Theme and thematic ties. There's too much annoying language in the game. The chorus, which is where you store cards. There's the composition, which is the pool of cards you draft from. And then you've got the ovations and the awards, and there's roses, and every little thing in this game has a name. that is just annoying because the music theme doesn't even make a whole lot of sense in the first place. The notes are just letters, but they're not real notes. Like this one is, but many of them are not. Like this one's not a musical note, so that's confusing. So it's just this really strange, ill-fitting, and yet somehow overly convoluted theme that they've thrown on here that, while cute, and I think the main cuteness comes from you being able to be like the cute owl or the elf or the imp who is adorable. It doesn't really make a whole lot of sense as to why the theme is what it is, and it doesn't quite work out if you stop and think about it. The aesthetics are okay. I like the cards. I think the card quality is good, but unfortunately these roses here, whatever they're made of, is extremely brittle. And so many of them have shattered already. Every time I bring it back out and I was going to try it again, there'd be a new one that was broken in there. Their pieces are just falling off. I don't think these are going to last for a very long time. They are plastic, I think, or they feel like they are ceramic, okay? They feel like, porcelain figures, and so they are in a bag. You put them in the box. Next time you bring them out, there's going to be a couple of new broken ones. That's unfortunate. Replay value, I think, is pretty good. If you get into this game and it captivates you, I think the replay value will stay high. The goals, or the awards, I should say, there's a nice variety in there. New things to try for as you are playing. I like the variety of powers that are shown on these note cards. There's a bunch of different ones. There's even these tomatoes. I didn't show you any of the tomatoes. They're like the take that cards. So the tomatoes are, they'll do bad things to you if you're stuck with them. Sometimes they're overly chaotic, so you might not like that. Like this one is a rancid tomato. It says if revealed in the composition, and again, that's just the flop of cards. Shuffle the drawn note cards face down. Whoever takes rancid tomato discards all chorus cards. So that round, your drafting is shot. You just shuffle everything face down. You take a card. Everybody keeps taking them. Somebody gets this. They discard their chorus cards, which are the banked cards, not the locked ones, the other ones. So it's just mean and random, that card. That one's pretty bad. There's a few other tomatoes like that. You might not like that aspect of the game, but it's a sprinkling of that. I'm not going to say it's everywhere, but there is a sprinkling of that. But the replay value is high because there is a bunch of different stuff in there, The game arc, I think, is pretty bad. The game definitely outstays its welcome, and I think for someone who is here to build words, the return rate on that is just not that good. There are a lot of things that get in your way until you finally then build the word. You're going to do that a few times in the game. You do it a lot, but based on the game length, really, you don't do it that many times. As opposed to in a game like Paperback, and I hate to keep coming back to that one game, but it's the obvious comparison, you will build many more words. You're going to do the thing you're here to do, which is have cards and arrange them into words many more times in a tighter time frame than you will here. Because here, there's all this stuff in the way, all this drafting, and then building, and then triggering abilities on them, and then collecting roses, and earning awards, and buying the other ones, and then banking the ones you didn't spend. And all of those things are like little hiccups along the way to just building some words. So I think the game arc is not great, and the game is way too long for what it is. The ease of play, is okay. The words are annoying. Again, the language they use. But there's also this sense of the rules getting in their own way. Like, for example, that chorus thing where you can store some cards from round to round, it's so over-explained. Instead of treating that aspect like a party game, and believe me, this is basically a party game, they treat some of those explanations like they are for a different game. I don't need timing windows, for some of these things. Just tell me that at the end of the round, like at the beginning of the round, pick them all up. At the end of the round, put down the ones you want to keep. Done. I don't need it to be so broken down and specific. It's either a party game or it's not, and I think it's a party game. I'm pretty sure that's what they're going for. A silly, yeah, there's a bunch of powers and whatnot, but it's supposed to be a silly game. And yet, sometimes the rule book stops it from feeling that way, which is unfortunate. Lastly, tactics, luck, strategy. I think the drafting is fun. It's slow, but it's fun, okay? And I think the word building is neat. And it's really what I assume you're here to do. I like the idea that some letters stick around. That's neat. I like the special abilities on many of them. I like that you can have big turns in the game. You know, some of the letters double the number of roses you're going to get. I think that's neat. But I think the game is quite long. I think you're not going to do as much as what you would like to do of the thing you're here to do. And I think the scoring is subpar for the end of the game. It's unfortunate that the scoring is based on just these applause ribbons or whatever they're called. There's not that many. And you can definitely see somebody pulling ahead and there being no way to catch them, which is lame. And you might have 20 minutes left on the game when you can look around and go, well, so-and-so earned a couple of awards and bought 2 cards. The rest of us are not going to catch up to their 5, applause ribbons or badges or whatever. So it's like, okay, so what are we doing? Playing for second at this point? I don't think the scoring should have been this limited. It seems weird to have all of this system built into the economy of the game, all of this, and then 20 of those is 1 point. And the scores are, 5 to 4 to 3. So I'm not a big fan of that. I think there should be something else you score based on, or just the ability to catch up someone who's got a bunch of them. If you see the end coming and know you can win. I don't like that it all boils down to that, is what I'm saying. I think that feels narrow-minded and that feels limited. So there you go. Overall, I think there's some cool ideas in this game, but I would love to see a revision of it that treats the game more like a party game, does away with all of these words that are just confusing and annoying for the sake of being thematic. It's not. And brings the fun in the game, building words, to the top. Makes that the main priority, does away with such a narrow scoring, and just livens up the whole thing. More of this is what I want to see. This was cute. These characters are cute. The fact that you begin with your own name in locked letters is adorable. Everything else drags this great starting point down a little bit, okay? So overall, for me, this is going to get a 5.5 out of 10. I think it's a nice idea, not the best execution on that, but I would be interested in seeing a second edition that's cleaned up and workshopped a little bit more, okay? So there you go, everybody. That's it for me. That is composition right here. My name is Zee Garcia. I'm going to see you on the next one.